Chevrolet Danica Patrick, who comes into Auto Club Speedway, her first repeat track in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Will be running the last 6 NASCAR Nationwide races in succession, which is your longest streak since the 3 that we started off the season with, coming off a great open wheel finish last weekend as well. That's behind you. This is in front of you.
Right.
Talk about it.
Yeah, it was. We finished up the IndyCar season last weekend at Homestead, and it was a good end to the year. It was a tough race to the finish with my teammate Tony Kanaan, and beat him at the line, and it was a nice way to end it. We've had a pretty up and down year in IndyCar. Probably some of my best oval and road course racing of my career, but was diluted by definitely a bunch of really average days too. So it was a nice way to end, and I'm excited to start this stretch of nationwide races. I think that all the things that we've done previously have served us well to get a little closer to what we need for a car, for something that is not only something that I'm comfortable with, which is what we've been working on time and time again, but also what I need too, and that might not always be comfortable every lap out there, but it will be something that will be good for the distance out there. These cars tend to change so much over a run, and an Indy car is very consistent in comparison. So you need to, I still don't have that down by any means, what I need the car to do in the first 5 or 10 laps to be good in the next 30. So figuring that out and figuring out just the things that we need to do to be more competitive, and so we're all looking forward to some consistency.
All right, if you have questions for Danica, let us know. We've got a wireless mic. Name and affiliation before we go, please. We'll start with Claire.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius NASCAR Radio. I actually have 2 questions. The first is, you met Eric Almirola today. Apparently you got a chance to meet him. Talk about that, because he will be your teammate. He was pretty impressed. And second, talk about designing the Glam Sport watch for Tissot.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, Eric's a really nice guy. He's obviously, I always think about how well he was running in Jimmy Johnson's car when Jimmy Johnson might have had to leave for the birth of his baby, which he didn't have to, and have a lot of respect for him. Saw him in the Truck Series, and you probably know more than me. Is he a teammate for the rest of the season, for next year? Is he? Oh, good. Well, see, I get out of the loop and I don't get filled in on all the loop. But that's fantastic. I think it will be really nice for me to have some consistency with someone. And I know even in the little bit that I had with Kelly Byers at the beginning of the year, it was really nice. It was nice to be able to have someone that. Kelly on my very first test, jumped in the car, set the car up for me, and then let me drive it, and it was a great test day. So, to be able to rely on some of that in a teammate and someone that's vested and has time and able to focus, and someone that I can just stop by on. A lot of the Cup guys are really generous, but man, they're busy. I know what it's like at Dover having to do double duty, and you're going from car to car and running around. So you can't blame them for that. That's for sure. So that'll be good. About my new Glam Sport watch. It's a beautiful watch. I don't know if we have a photo or anything here, but it's a beautiful stainless watch. It's the first stainless watch we've done. All the rest of them have been either leather or rubber bands, and being really involved in the band selection and the diamonds on it and the face of it, and it's a really beautiful watch. I've been wearing it for the last few months, and so when I wore it at the launch the other night in Hollywood, I was thinking I probably should clean it because it's so dirty because I've been wearing it. But Tissot's been a really good partner. Sharon, president here of Tissot in the United States, is here for the weekend, and it's a relationship that started out as a personal deal and has really grown into something so much more. And all my partners are so great, but it's always very rewarding to see them take a bigger position, because it means the relationship is a success for them, and that's good for both of us.
Jay Hart, Yahoo Sports. Can you just talk about the 2 questions, I guess. The first one would be in terms of your schedule. I mean, obviously now you're going to get a chance to really, focus on NASCAR. Do you feel like that the flip-flopping sort of back and forth, do you even feel like you gave yourself a fair shot at success? And then can you address the idea I read in a story in the LA Times about possibly getting a driver coach and possibly Mark Martin being that driver coach?
Well, yeah, I definitely gave it a fair shot. But, what you have to look at, I guess, is that, I'm doing, what is this now, I did four nationwide races to start. And then, so, the summertime, we were looking at my 5th, 6th, and 7th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th race of my nationwide NASCAR stock car driving career. So I think, it's hard to... I had to do the same thing as kind of look at it in perspective in IndyCar when I did the ovals or the road course racing, is that, you do 3 in a year and you're up against guys like Dario and Tony Kanaan and Scott Dixon and, amazing drivers in my first few years that, they were kicking my butt. And you have to think to yourself, okay, I've done 3 races. That's like, it's going to take me how many years to do a full season of road course racing that these guys did for a long time. So, to expect that my 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th race in a nationwide car is going to be the same as everybody else's at that point in the year it isn't fair, and I can't hold myself to that standard either. So, I think everybody has been tremendously understanding. On the broadcast, everybody's very positive. It means so much, and it's so helpful. And everybody's been very, very patient, and I appreciate that. I'm looking for the same things that everyone else is looking, as some improvement in performance and some more consistency and speed out here in these last 6 races. And if Mark can be a part of me learning how to do that, that would be great. He's incredibly busy, obviously, himself with a full season, and I would take anything that he had to give. I met him a long time ago at Phoenix and sat down in the front of the hauler with him for an hour on race day. This is, probably 2006 or something like that, and he's been an incredibly nice guy from the very beginning. So, he stopped over at Dover, and he felt bad, and I think that he believes I can do more, and that's nice to know, and nice to see somebody like that think that. It would be nice if somebody could help me, even if it becomes whoever it is. I would take any help. And so, like he said, you need somebody you need somebody to tell you, to put you in the car and say, this is the setup, go drive it, after they've driven it, and not just, it's one thing to, I'm boring you to death, aren't I, here? You're sleeping. It's one thing to say, drive this line, do that, but when you don't have the car maybe that might do that, and you can't do that. It's all just words. So it would be nice for someone to throw me in a car after they've driven it, and so I get a real feel. But you know what? We're just moving forward, and even if nobody's there to help it, we'll continue to get better still.
Danica, Brad Gilley, Performance Racing Network. If I could get you to look ahead a few weeks to Texas, you had a lot of success there this year in the IndyCar and in previous years. In any way, does that make you look any more forward to going back to Texas? And based on what you've experienced in tracks where you've run in both series, do you know what you could expect possibly?
Yeah. Well, I guess I've probably done a little bit better with banking. So Texas sure has some banking, so I hope that translates. It's a little off turn. It's a little tricky off turn too at Texas, and even in an IndyCar, it flattens out really quickly, and it can emphasize issues. So I'm excited to go. They always do a great job of promoting the race, of course, and getting the fans out there. But I think I just have to see it's been so different coming to these tracks that I've been to in an IndyCar, in a stock car. It's like worlds different. To be honest, the track feels different again the second time I've been here. It actually started to feel like a 2-mile track instead of the 1 or 1.5 mile track it felt like when I came here in the spring. So it's totally different perspectives. So I would have to really get there in the nationwide car to see to give you a real answer on whether I'm excited to be there that day.
Let's go with